Welcome to our custom space where dreams.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. And this is one of my earlier canvas pours that I've got mounted on the wall. And every time I look at it, I kind of see a phoenix. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but at the top I can kind of see a head with a beak. And the bottom kind of looks like the tail. The gold bit in the center kind of looks like a body. And then the bits either side to me look like wings. So I thought it'd be interesting just to see what it would look like if I add a real phoenix to this canvas pour that to me has kind of come out like a phoenix. So if that's what you're interested in, you're in the right place. And I'm going to be playing with Petri in this video because I think a Petri phoenix on top of that as a background is just going to hopefully look stunning. So if that's what you're interested in, you're in the right place. Let's get over to the workshop and I'll show you the mold. So I'm back at the workshop and I found this phoenix mold. I think it was from Temu, but I love the detail on it. And I just thought, what would happen if I actually added a phoenix to that image, what I think already looks like a phoenix? And for this, I'm going to go with an effect I've not played with for a little while, which is Petri. I love Petri effect. So I've already pre-selected some colours. I'm going to be using the Let's Resin inks, and I've got red, peach, which is quite a dark orange, dandelion yellow, normal yellow, orange, and rose. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use the rose yet because it comes out slightly pink. But again, I don't know yet. This is all going to be about playing with it and having fun. And then obviously from the Let's Resin kit, I've got the Sinker White as well to create hopefully a Petri effect. And I just think that's going to look really cool mounted on that canvas, which I already think resembles a phoenix. So going to get, I think, 3 ounces of resin mixed up for this, maybe 4 actually. I've never used the mold before, so I'm going to mix up 4 just to be safe and make sure I've got enough to fill it. And then we're going to drop the inks, do some Petri, and see what it turns out like. So going to get gloved up, respirator on, and get that resin in the debubbler. So I'll see you guys in a second. So we're back and I've mixed up, I think it was, I went with 4 ounces of resin in the end. Just put it through the debubbler. So hopefully there'll be no bubbles in there. And I'm just going to have a play with this. And sometimes I get my best results from just having fun. And then we're going to try and mount it on that canvas. So I've put it on a bit of card because this drip collection mat I've got, with these types of molds, they kind of go uneven. So I just thought I'd put a bit of card under it to hopefully even it out. And it's going to be really interesting, this. I've not done Petri in a piece this size. I don't know if I'm going to stir it. I just don't know at the minute. It's just about being creative for me. And that's sometimes the bit that I love about resin. So I'm just going to completely try and fill this mold. And again, it's the first time I've used it. So I'm not sure how is best to do this. So again, I'm going to go around all the edges first, just to make sure that they all get a covering. Oh, I'm going to get over pour there. Never mind. And as I say, it's just going to be, hopefully, a fun project. And they're my best kind of favourite projects. Ones where I'm just having a play, experimenting and seeing what happens. I don't know how Petri's going to look in this in the end. And that's part of the fun. You know, I don't know what effects the Petri's going to make with these colours. But as I say, it's just something that I've been looking at that canvas for probably the best part of 3 months since I've done it and had it on my wall. And I've just thought it looks so much like a phoenix. So why not get a phoenix mold and put a phoenix on? And I can see a couple of bits in my resin there, which I'm not happy about. So again, I'm just making sure it's full to the brim. Well, leaving about 1 mil of space, I think. And then I can sort out any bubbles that I see on the base, which there will be some. It's a brand new mold. It's one of the downsides. The first time you use a mold, you often find that you get a few bubbles sticking. This wing could probably do with a touch more, but then I want to leave some space for my alcohol ink. So I think I'm pretty happy now that is full. And hopefully we're going to get an amazing piece. So looking at this, I've got about 1 ounce of resin left, so I would have got away with 3 ounces. So if you've got this mold and you're wondering how many ounces it takes, you'll get away with 3. So I can see 2 little bits in my resin here, so I don't want those in there. Bit of dust, I think. So take those out first of all. Here we go. And again, I've not waited for this to get to any particular temperature or anything like that. I've just gone for it. And now I'm just going to go around these edges with my silicone tool, trying to create any bubbles that might be in there on the base to come up to the surface. And again, making sure that I've completely filled this mold. Because they will try and get in these nooks and crannies. If you don't do this, you're guaranteed to have an air bubble somewhere in your mold. So it just takes a couple of minutes to go through, as I say, all of them and try and get any bubbles that might be there up to the surface, and then we can get them with the torch. And I can already see a few that are trying to gather in these small thin bits. So again, if you take the time to do this now, you'll have a lot less disappointments when it comes to demold. Especially with detailed molds like this, you're going to get air bubbles. So again, you don't want them in there, so just try and convince them to come to the surface. It's as simple as that. Anywhere where they might attach, just go around, especially in the beak, I think they'll try and build. And there we go, and it's reasonably level. I'm happy with that on the surface, and I can't see any major bubbles now. So again, I'm just going to torch the surface now. Getting rid of any of those bubbles that have just come to the surface, and I'm trying to do it from a bit of a height. If you're using a torch like this, you don't want to be going close to that silicone because it will bond the resin to your mold and ruin your mold, which you don't want when you've just bought one and it's new. So there we go. So that is pretty much the first step done. In fact, I've just spotted another bubble there. So again, just teasing it up to that surface. There it is. I can still see it. And it's gone. And I can see 2 more now. You get one and you make 2 more, but again, it's just a case of work them up to the surface. Try your best not to introduce any more. And get them. And then they're gone. And I can just see something dark. And I think it's another bit of dust. I don't know where this dust is suddenly coming from. But again, just take your time. Now's the time before you drop your inks to get any foreign bodies or bubbles out. And I'm pretty happy with that. That looks pretty cool. And then it's how I'm going to drop the inks, I think, that's going to make this either work or not. So I've got this ounce of resin as well, which I'm going to pour into my drip mold at the end. But I'm going to start off with the lighter colours. So always give your colours a shake. This is the yellow. I'm just going to put a couple of drops. And I'm not waiting for any temperature or anything like that. I'm just going to literally drop some in different areas of this Phoenix. And I'm running low on this yellow. I need to get some more. That's why it's creating those bubbles. And again, I'm no particular order with this. I want it to just do what it does. And whatever happens, happens. And I think I'm out of this yellow now. I might get one more drop. There we go. So that's my yellow. And I have got a slightly darker yellow somewhere. But for now, I think that's enough of the yellow. Next, I'm going to go in with, in fact, it's here. So this is the dandelion yellow from Let's Resin. And again, it's just a slightly darker shade of yellow. So again, I'm going to go in with the yellow again. And the idea here is I'm just trying to almost build up layers of these different yellows in this mold. Whether it will work or not, especially when I add the Petri, so the white sinker, I don't know. So there's my yellows. And that's already looking pretty cool, if I do say so. Now I've got my orange. And again, it's a Let's Resin one. I love the Let's Resin colours. Again, one drop there, one just there. And I don't know how these are all going to blend and mix, but that is part of the fun. So that is my orange. And do I go in with a peach as well? Why not? So this is peach, which is another shade of orange. And it's almost a red, that peach. It's slightly darker. And then I've got my red, which, again, I want mainly, I think, in the centre of this. And maybe just a tiny drop in each of the wings, like so. And I'm loving the way that this is looking already. But what I am going to do is just add another drop of the yellow on top of the red to hopefully, again, cause those mixes of colours and give us a real flamey effect. But I can already see that in the tail. And then I am going to swirl them. I wasn't going to, but I just think it'll be really interesting now to just mix these through before I add the white and see what happens. And I'm hoping that we will still get some of those yellows coming through, but almost creating, I suppose, a feather-like effect. And I doubt this will stay once I add my white sinker, but you never know. You know, and I'm just swirling some of these colours around into the details. And there's no plan here. Whatever will be, will be. And part of me wants to not add the white sinker now because I'm loving this effect, but I'm going to, because that's what I wanted to do from the start, is try and get that Petri effect as well. As you can see, I'm just playing with the colours, mixing them all together and seeing what happens, you know, but I'm loving this already. And as I say, part of me doesn't want to now add the white sinker for that Petri effect because I'm loving this natural sort of flame effect that we've created. But you don't know what's going to happen until you try it. And I think if I just left this now, it would look amazing anyway, but I wanted to do Petri, so I'm going to do Petri. And as you can see, I'm just swirling those colours around into those nooks and crannies of the mould. And we'll see what effect we get at the end. But I'm loving that. That to me is beautiful. And I'm just hoping I don't spoil it now by adding that white sinker. I'm ruining these flames that I've just created. But with resin, you don't know unless you try. And there we go. That looks amazing. And part of me, as I say, I don't want to add that white sinker now because that just looks so stunning as it is. And I think the white sinker will move everything around, which is a bit of a concern, but I'm going to do it. Look at that, though. That is absolutely like a phoenix on fire. And this is one of those moments, 11 minutes in, where I'm so excited about the project. I've got to clean my gloves and I've got to get a photo. I'm sorry, but I might never see that effect again. And it is absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to get my other phone and get a camera. Look at that. Oh, look at that colours. So now before I get too excited, I'm going to now add the white sinker. Make sure you give this a good shake because if you don't, the pigments won't mix. And the biggest thing you want to do is make sure that those pigments are mixed to avoid those blobs. And I'm going to try and do this quite neatly. So I'm going to try and put an even spread so I don't get those blobs, but I do still want to cover the whole piece. So again, just take a couple of minutes, shake it up so you don't get those pigments. But oh, this is absolutely stunning. Here we go. So this is that white sinker. I'm going to start in the center. And hopefully this will just give us an amazing Petri effect behind these colours. And I just want to make sure I've got enough to completely cover every part. And I don't know if I'm going to stir this or not, because I could ruin it if I stir it. And I do like the natural Petri effect anyway. Oh God, I don't know what happened there, but we got a bit more there. I'm hoping I don't get any of the dreaded blobs. I just think one more here. And one more here. I think I've got a hole in my bottle. That's what's happened there. I have. So I'm going to leave this now, and we're going to come back in an hour, see what it looks like, and decide if I want to stir anything. But looking at those colours right now, I don't think I want to. I am just going to pull this slightly through to the beak to make sure that I've got that colour there, because I want to have that colour. And again, what I'm going to do at this point, I think, is just, again, it's pre-stir this, so what you should do is wait an hour for your resin to get to that stringiness. But I just want to make sure that all of these tips have got some of this colour in. And I've never done this like this. I've always waited for that 1 hour. But I just want some colour going over everything. In fact, I'm going to leave it now. And we're going to wait an hour and come back in an hour. But so far, this is looking stunning. I just hope it doesn't blob, and I hope we get that amazing Petri effect. So I'll see you guys in an hour, and we'll see what we get with this Phoenix. So I'll see you then. So we are back, and it's been about 40 minutes, and I'm just deciding if I want to swirl this or not. And I think I am going to put some designs in. So there's no going back now. So I want a swirl in the middle, I think, but I'm going to save that until the end, because I just want to pull some of these colours around like this and into where these natural feathers go. And I probably could have left this a little bit longer before doing this, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So again, I'm just going to come into that beak fully there, and then I'm going to do a little swirl here, almost like an eye, I think. And we'll see what happens with that. And again, I don't know if this is going to work at all or not. I've never done it before, but I just want to see what happens if I sort of swirl these colours and the white into every one of these little feathers. Will I still get some of the normal Petri effect, which I'm hoping for? Or am I doing too much here by doing this? I don't know, is the honest answer. One thing I do know, with resin, you never know until you try. So again, I'm just trying to pull the white and those colours through to every one of these little feathers that are naturally in the mould for the wings. And hopefully it's going to create a cool effect. I don't know. And the one thing I don't want is blobs. So I'm just hoping not to get those as well. Now, the only thing that worries me with that is obviously where you saw as I was putting the white on, the bottle kind of had a hole in it, which I wasn't happy about. But so far, I'm loving the way that this is looking, and providing any of these effects actually come through on the other side, I think I'm going to be very happy with this piece, especially when it's mounted on that canvas. And I'm hoping that I'm not ruining everything right now by moving this design around, because again, I'm blending those colours more every time I do it, and I still want there to be that separation between those different colours. But I thought it would just be a cool experiment, and for me it's just going to completely add, hopefully, to that canvas piece, which I've been saying for ages. In my head it just looks like a phoenix, so that's what tempted me to buy this mould when I saw it on Temu. And I just want this to hopefully look natural as well when it comes to demold. But as we all know, resin does what resin does, and you've just got to hope that it gets something like what you had in your head. And it doesn't always. Again, I'm just going to come down into each one of these little feathers and see what happens. But I'm hoping it doesn't completely ruin the Petri design that I had in my head for this piece. But we will see. And I'm happy with that. And then I'm just going to do a swirl in this centre bit. And hopefully that'll sort of emphasise this body of this phoenix. And then back into the centre. There we go. But I'm pretty happy with that. Whatever happens, happens now. And we're going to demold this tomorrow. So I'll see you at demold. Morning guys, and it's the next day and it's time to demold this phoenix. So I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully the Petri hasn't blobbed, and hopefully we've got a cool design on the front, but I'm loving the back. So if not, if there's a way to mount it like that, I'm still happy. So here we go, and I've not demolded this mold before, so it's going to be interesting. And actually it seems to demold pretty easily, which these firmer silicone molds don't always. But touch wood, this seems to be coming out okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any of it. And as I say, the question will be whether I was right to have done the Petri as well, because I was so tempted to just leave it as it was. But we'll see. So it's demolded nicely. Lovely clean mold. And here we go. Let's have a look at this phoenix. Wow. Do you know what? I like it, but there's a few spots. And I think because of the raised design, you can't really see the Petri effect that well, so actually it might be a waste in a piece like this. But you can still see the colours. It still looks like flames. The only thing is, as I say, there's a tiny bit of blobbing, which for me kind of spoils it a little bit. And I can't really see the Petri through the feather design. So actually with this, next time I do it, I think I might not use the Petri. Just because, as I say, you can't really see past all of the feathers to that Petri effect. The only bits you can see is where it's got a little bit heavy and it's blobbed, and that, if you remember, is where that tiny bit leaked out the bottles. So I don't know, I like it. You can still tell it's the Phoenix, and I suppose the question will be is on this darker background what it will look like, and I actually think that will look amazing just on there. So again, I saw a phoenix here with the head there, the wings there, the wings there, and now it's just a case, I think, of replicating that, and I think I'd actually put it on there diagonally. I actually think that'll look really cool. rather than just straight in the middle. And that is actually the way that Phoenix seems to go, shape-wise. What do you think? Put it on diagonally? And all I'm going to do that is use some UV resin. So it's not exactly the way I'd hoped, and that's because for me the Petri has lightened it a little bit too much, but it still looks pretty cool. So let me know what you think in comments. I am going to just mount this very quickly with some UV resin. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to make another one because I want it to be a little bit darker than this one before I put it on the canvas. But all in all, I think it's a nice little piece, and you can still see those different colours coming through. But on this one, I actually prefer the back. If I was going to use this one, I'd try and mount it somehow like that, because the back has just got so much more vibrant colours, and that's the downside with this particular mould and Petri. So I might do it again, but just leave the alcohol inks in. So let me know what you think in comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Welcome to our custom space where dreams take flight. A positive visions coming to life. It's a perfect sight. We pawn together, blooming three, resin family. Testing Micah's new creations. We set the free. Join our journey, like and subscribe. This is our place. Ocean seas to dragons and blooms. We carve with grace. Welcome to custom carving, where dreams come true. Epoxy magic flow.